violation of what's happening. Aman Chowhan is with us, fund manager at Abakkus Asset Managers. Aman, good to have you with us here. Good afternoon. Prashant this side. You heard the reasons from Yash. I want to add one more reason to it, potential reason with a question mark. How much of it is, according to you, I mean, could also be sort of the hunt for ideas, new ideas, not new, but, you know, things with not very demanding valuations, large liquid sector, some growth sort of on the horizon. How much of it is that, according to you, Aman?
Part of it is true because the sector had underperformed, and in a bull market, it's always a relative valuation as well as people keep on hunting for new sectors, new ideas. And it's always a rotation. 1 week a certain sector does well, next week we need a new sector to move in. It happened with IT. I believe it is also happening with life insurance. But it's not just that. Even the business is picking up. The fear of something coming in the budget is now behind us. And hence, incremental liquidity is moving towards this sector, which anyway is a decent secular sector to bank on, which is benefiting from the macro tailwinds as such.
So are you overweight on insurance companies? If yes, do you want to throw some more color on which one to hunt after the kind of up move?
So we have an insurance exposure in our portfolio. It's not a recent one. We have it since years now, and we would have a mid-single digit exposure to insurance, and maybe at an appropriate time, we might look to increase that exposure. But for now, we have one of the, you can say, top 5 large insurance companies in our portfolio.
Aman, hi, great to have you on. I mean, just again, another point of conjuncture. What seems to be happening with banks, at least from some quarters, the inputs that we gather, and some of them are actually, you know, perhaps foreign desks, there's some rotation away from banks because one section of the market feels that this whole banking issue will take some time to sort out. The fight for deposits, margins, a lot of regulatory overhang from the RBI. So perhaps it's some of that money shifting, looking for newer homes, and insurance, like Prashant said, perhaps being a relative value home. Just give us your thoughts on that, whether that could be a possibility, and your own stance, because in the past, I remember you've been quite constructive on large banks, particularly the private sector ones, right?
Right. So we continue to like the banking space, but incrementally what is happening is post the current quarter numbers, whatever we have seen is that looks like we are near to the best of the credit costs. So NPS can inch up from here, both for the private as well as the PSU banks. And that is something which the street, at least in the near term, is not very excited about. We also are very constructive on the non-fund-based financials. So that is where also we have exposure. So we have insurance companies, as I just mentioned, and we have wealth companies, we have broking companies, we have AMC in our portfolio. So it's an equal balance for us, financials as well as non-financials within the BFSI basket. And as we speak, incrementally, we feel the non-fund-based financials can do better than banks.
Hi, Aman. Good afternoon. Good to see you. When, you know, one positive besides the fiscal prudence that the finance minister spoke about in the budget was the capital allocation. No tinkering out there, you know, held it at around 11 lakh crore, which was read positively. You have mentioned in the past that you're like EPC, you're like some of these infra names as well. Are you still positive out there, even from current levels? Because some of them have already seen a big re-rating.
Some of them have, but there is enough scope for them to move up further because of the way civil infrastructure is being set up in the country. I believe they have enough scope for these companies to continue to grow. So right now, most of these companies are projecting to grow anywhere between 20 to 30%. And this can continue for the next few years. And for a 20-30% CAGR growth company, these companies are trading somewhere close to 15 to 18 times multiple. They can easily re-rate to around 20-22 times multiple. So we continue to remain positive on this space, both EPC as well as companies in the infra space.
I got that. And what other pockets? Telecom is doing very well. Indus, Idea, all these names. That's as a theme. Do you like it? And any other pockets which you think will do well, where there is still relative valuation? Because I guess it's about a lot of it is about that now.
The telecom also we like, but we are restricted to the top name in the telecom space in our portfolio. Besides that, incrementally, we are getting more positive on the pharma and the chemical space. We see things bottoming out there, and incrementally margins can surprise on the upside. And with like life insurance, even these sectors have not been great performers in the past few quarters, and there can be a good catch-up rally in this segment also. So these are the two other segments which we are incrementally more positive today than say what we were 6 months back.
Aman, can you elaborate on that? Because chemicals is a vast, vast space, right? So I know you can't talk stocks, but just incrementally, where do you see the cycle bottoming out and maybe finally turning up within chemicals?
Bulk chemicals are looking good. The imports that we see from China and from other regions is also down, both because of freight as well as for other reasons. So that is something that is looking exciting. Any chemical company which is facing competition from China is bound to do well. And companies overall, if you're not importing your raw material from China, because that is going to get more expensive, but even agrochemical companies for that matter, we are seeing good monsoons being so far. Demand should pick up. The inventory issues which was in the last season is not there this season. So that segment also within chemicals is something that is looking exciting to us.
So I mean, you're saying agrochemicals is looking up. Can you tell us about, is it going to be like dyes and pigment companies? Is that the area to look at? Fluorochemistry? Specifically, what should one go out and study really, as you're saying that the cycle is overall improving?
You can look at bulk chemicals, need not necessarily dyes and chemicals, but some the bulk basic chemicals, soda ash, chloralkalis, that kind of segment that is also now starting to look up.
Aman, I remember you were neutral on IT. Is there anything in this quarter's earnings in the commentary which makes you incrementally more bullish?
No, we stay neutral. We are not bearish, but not that view has changed post the quarterly numbers. Numbers were in line broadly. Commentary also has been borderline. Demand seems to have bottomed out, just waiting for the right time for it to pick up before we get more constructive. So we have some exposure on IT. It will be say single digit in most of the portfolios. Just waiting for absolute demand to pick up before we add on.
Have you changed your view on any sector, any theme in the last, say, 1 month? Any trends that you would like to highlight for our viewers?
Not much. It's particularly the same sectors that we like pre-budget. Not much of change because of budget per se or anything in the last month or so.
Aman, metals, the index is up 3%. Is it a global kind of a play here, or what's going on, in your opinion?
Metal is always global. So last, say 2 weeks, there was some pressure on the metal prices. Seems to be in the near term that has got arrested and it could be headed up. And hence we may having a catch-up rally or maybe a short covering the metal space today.
Aman, finally, just want to, get an idea of the mood out there when you are speaking to clients, and many of your investors are obviously HNI, ultra HNI, players. What is the sense? This money that's coming in, are they very, happy to write the checks even at these levels, or are they holding back? And this money that's coming in now, is it coming in with a 3-year view, or are people still expecting great gains in the next 1 year? What's the sentiment with this market frenzy?
Broadly, the sentiment remains that people are underinvested. They want to increase the equity exposure, just waiting for the right time. And that's the reason we see that even an intraday or a 1 or 2 day fall and people come in and lap up the opportunity. So maybe that's one of the reasons why markets are not seeing any deep profit booking per se. So overall, that's the sense we see, that people want to increase the equity exposure, just waiting for the right stock, right time to come in. And that's the question people ask us as to how should we come in? Is SIP the right route? Are we coming upfront, or how do we stagger it? So I don't think anybody has a doubt on equity markets per se. Not many are worried on the valuations front. They have made good money and the sentiment is pretty positive. Post-budget also is a surprise, but sentiment stays positive.
Well, with Cipla numbers on the screen, top line slightly shy of estimates, but I think at the EBITDA front and the bottom line level, those numbers are above, and the stock's doing really well. We'll just get some more analysis going on that. And I mean, I just wanted to complete the point. So valuations are not a deterrent, and clearly neither is tax, right? What's been the chatter this week that you picked up within fund managers, within investors? Is anybody bothered because 10 became 12.5? Or no, life goes on?
Life goes on. It's like we have to pay tax only when we make money. So let's focus on making money. Tax will compose that.
No, absolutely. So you make a little bit more, right, and pay the extra tax. Right? That's the, at least, I mean, the color. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what we picked up as well. Not really bothered. I mean, little unhappiness at the margin, obviously, but no one is really taking this as a negative cue in that sense. Thanks very much, Aman. Great speaking with you. Sorry, you want to add something?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great speaking with you. Have a good weekend, and we'll speak again. Thank you. 400 points, by the way, on the Nifty.